Okay, so the last couple of weeks, Baker Mayfield has had to go on the road out west, Seattle, San Francisco, good teams. And in both games, Baker Mayfield was the difference. He's missing Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving. Emeka Egbuka got hurt in the game. Baker willed his team to a W. As you guys all know, this league is about toughness and resilience. Don't be a victim. Deal with it. Baker's not the biggest. He's only 6'1". He's not the most athletic. But his fight, picking up that first down on the run, is A++. The dude was missing his top 4 receivers. Instead, he needed Tez Johnson, heck of a catch, and Cameron Johnson, who was an undrafted D2 athlete. That was his receiving core. And both caught their first career NFL touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, a lot of these quarterbacks, I don't even need to name them, they get coordinators fired. Baker Mayfield's last 2 coordinators, he got head coaching jobs. And again, there's a quality that Baker Mayfield has that I wish everybody in America had. Not everything has to be perfect. He never plays the victim. It's like, what do I got to work with? All right, let's go. He's never pointing fingers. Baker's like, get on my back. This is a guy he's pulling a team right now. They are a mess offensively. They are falling. He's using D2 receivers. And he's beating Seattle in Seattle. You see what Seattle did on the road yesterday? You see what Seattle did to the Steelers this year?
Yeah.
I'm smiling because Colin starts to give commentary on what we need as Americans right now. And it's just making me smile because I'm just like, okay. I think with Baker's story, what I find most inspiring and most motivating is how close Baker was to failure and to having his career really kind of just go nowhere. Like you would say, in hindsight, I was able to get some money, I got some fame, I got some buzz, had some success in college, I did get a chunk of change. I could say I was the first overall pick, blah, 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 right? Like all those types of things, which are accomplishments in their own right. Win a playoff game, et cetera, but like really hanging on by a thread, objectively speaking, and now being an MVP favorite and on the back of already multiple successful years. I think that's the most remarkable thing and the most inspiring and exciting thing that you can derive from this. In terms of the success of the Bucs right now, I've been very consistent with when I look at some injuries and whatnot and how you're able to win. It's like I look at the roster itself and coaching. You have his first off. Yeah, the receivers are down. But you have Egbuka, who's been playing absolutely out of his mind throughout the whole season, except for this game specifically. So I always take issue when someone says, oh, he's down as wide receiver 1. No, I've been his wide receiver 1 who's been literally an elite top 3 receiver in the NFL. I don't care that he is a rookie or not. And now when you're dealing with all these other issues, like in this game, when you're really down, it's like I'm looking at coordinating. First off, you could say that some of these guys have never caught a touchdown pass, but then they make amazing catch. The fingertip catch, diving, like that's coaching, getting these guys ready. That is dialing up these plays. That is putting your players in positions to succeed. That is scheming, when you're dealing with injuries, it's like I put it on Shanahan to find the way. I put it on Andy Reid to find the way. I put it on the coaching staff to find a way, put those players in positions to succeed. And that's why I just think that they've done a masterful job. And you're talking about like the Seattle Seahawks, and it's like, yeah, Sam Darnold lit the Bucs up, but what did it come down to? Todd BS making that beautiful call, get the blitz, force the turnover, bing bang boom, right? Like that's what it gets boiled down to. And when there's moments for like a Baker to then slip or fall or backtread, like where he's about to get sacked for a loss and now they're going to have to punt, he finds his way through it, right? And now he's got multiple of those moments when you just think like, oh man, this guy's dead to rights, but then finds his way through it. So that's why it's been a complete team effort. But I fear that anytime we talk about, we're such a quarterback-driven fan base, and I mean this like collectively, all of us, we all watch football, and I think just it gets so underdized coaching. Um, and to me, I think that this coaching staff right now, Todd BS was seen as kind of like, yeah, I guess there was feelings that maybe he could get fired and then coordinating, and I think Liam Cohen is a great coordinator, and then he moves on. And I didn't really know too much about the newer, not the newer coordinator, the new coordinator specifically, uh, who's calling the plays now, but he had already been calling third and fourth down plays. Like he's going to get a head coaching job, and rightfully so. Um, and he had praised Liam Cohen and all, and everything that he's learned from Liam and I think that that level of consistency that you can have really just puts you in a position to succeed. The drafting again, getting a Booga. I remember talking about this, and I made the joke in a previous video of like I live stream that, and there were multiple I kept referencing the one Bucks fan. There were multiple Bucks fans that were kind of like, I don't know, and I'm like, this is amazing, and like not a lot of people have the courage to make a draft pick like that, right? It's kind of fallen out of popularity to do something like that, and yet it's been unbelievable. It's been the exact draft pick you needed. Without that, you probably are not going to be 5-1 right now, and Baker Mayfield is probably not leading the MVP conversation. So this is structurally, right? Like this is what we see with the Kansas City Chiefs, where it's just like Patrick Mahomes out of his mind, elite, special, all-time great. But it's everything else that is able to create the environment to allow this continued levels of success, right? And Baker's actually the perfect example of this, because we've seen him in other places and not have this level of success. He did not necessarily have this in Cleveland. He did not have this in Carolina and whatnot. And so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a franchise as a whole deserve tremendous amount of credit just to go out and get. Tom Brady was a massive swing. Think about it. The New England Patriots are like, we're good. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are like, no, we're not. We know what we're doing. Get over here. And then instantly won a Super Bowl. And quite frankly, could have won another one. And then they're the ones that went out and got Baker Mayfield and were very smart with the structure of the deal that they made and how they went about it, and gave themselves wiggle room, and now they're in the best situation because they are paying Baker Mayfield way under market value. Way under market value. So just incredibly smart moves, and just like we've seen again and again and again, the Kansas City Chiefs, you have other players like, we don't want Guju. He's not good enough. And the Chiefs are like, we'll take him. We'll get this guy close to 1,000 yards. He'll be top in the NFL. And Yak will be number one in reception percentage. MVS, we will take it. I'm going to Andy Reid's like, I'm going to scheme MVS to be wide open for a touchdown catch in the Super Bowl. That's what I'm going to do. No other team can do that. No other team's finding ways to do that. And so I think the way how they've been able to have just a collection of all these receivers and have these guys consistently open again, man, that's credit to the scheme and the timing of the play calling. Now, again, I don't have too many strong takeaways from a game against the 49ers. They are decimated with injuries, and they are struggling significantly. And then even just losing Fred Warner was obviously devastating, as that is like their literal quarterback of their defense. And you're going up against a backup quarterback in M. Jones, who I know showed some fight. And actually, I was incredibly impressed by that game, even though he had the two interceptions. Really, that one was the first one was legitimately devastating, as that directly led, may as well have been a pick six at that point. But I think if you're a Bucs fan right now, you're coming away with wins, especially earlier on the season, that could have been losses, but obviously came away with the wins, and you don't feel like you're fully healthy or playing your best brand of football. And when you look around the NFL right now, it feels so messy. Whether it's the Eagles, the Lions, and I'm filming this obviously before the Bills play, but just like there's just no team like last year, and this will this has been my repeat take, especially today. Last year, it just felt like there were so many teams that you were just like, man, this team can rock. This team can get after it. And you really saw it. You really saw it. And you even saw it when other great teams were going up against each other. It was just a battle, a clash. You saw it. I don't think we've really seen that this year. I really, really don't. The Eagles and the Eagles and the Bucs. Just use those two teams together. Obviously, since we're talking about the Bucs, like that was a great game, but just from a more entertainment perspective, rather than we saw two teams playing their highest quality ball because it was a tale of two halves for both teams. Baker and that Bucs team did not look good in the first half, and the Eagles looked unbelievable in that first half, and then flipped in the second half. Same thing with the Eagles versus the Rams. Same thing with, the Chiefs and the Lions, for instance, just on Sunday, right? Chiefs have been playing pretty well. I think they've been playing better than what their record is and what people are giving them credit for. And then the Lions are playing pretty well. They come together, and it's just like, didn't look like that was two great teams going toe-to-toe. Looked like the Lions couldn't really keep up, and so it's just like, okay. But then the Chiefs lost to the Jags, and I don't think the Jags are that great of a team, and the Jags really had no chance. Technically, from a scoring perspective, they had a chance against the Seattle Seahawks. But if you actually watch that game, you're like, dude, the Seattle Seahawks are clearly the better team. Clearly the better team. And so really the most truly dynamic back and forth game was the Seattle Seahawks versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But the Buccaneers will say, hey, we weren't even fully healthy. And the Seattle Seals will say, hey, our defense was also decimated with injuries, and our defense was exceptionally poor in that game. So that's why it's like making sense of all this feels so messy, as I almost just made my camera go down earthquake. And so the Bucs, you're going to be feeling great about yourselves right now. And when you're looking around the league, you're situated just as well as any other team to win, important games, win big games, and get after it. So I think we're in for a ride for an UNC for an incredibly unpredictable unfolding of this season. But I think, especially if you're a Bucs fan, you see like, oh, the Eagles dropping. You saw obviously the 49ers, and I think the 49ers were a bit inflated. I had them lower on my rank because I had them lower than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even though, M. Jones and the 49ers were winning some games and beating the Rams. I don't go just by record. And you're seeing the Eagles drop. You're seeing the 49ers. You're seeing how the Rams played. Pukenaku is banged up. You saw the Lions look what they looked like against the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, you've seen the Chiefs versus the Jags. You've seen the Broncos. You see the Chargers are banged up. Like, you're looking around the league and you're just like, I don't know, like, who really scares you? And really, the team that would scare you the most would be a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, just because of their track record more than anything. If we didn't have their obvious, elite track record and know who Andy Mahomes and Spags are, you wouldn't necessarily inherently fear them at all, right? You would be like, no, they're a good team. They obviously had some weird, tough losses early on the season. They're getting healthier, but like, no, I feel pretty good. The only reason why you would have any of that dose of fear is because, it is indeed Patrick Mahomes, Andy, and Spags. So it's a great spot to be in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and how they tie it all together will be legitimately fascinating. But I think one of the great things you have going for you when you can have questions about coordinators, whether it be with the Lions, whether it be with the Eagles, etc., you can't question that right now with the Buccaneers. And so when you're dealing with all of these injuries, and when you have now a collection of other receivers that you should have the best trio of receivers in the NFL, you won't have to question, well, will my coach be able to put it all together, and will my quarterback be able to distribute? You have that answer already, even though you haven't fundamentally seen it quite yet. And so this is a great spot to be in. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.